doing? Hey, Facebook and everybody else, how y'all doing? This is your life coach, your certified life coach, Tonetta, bringing y'all the workshop Sunday today. And if you see me looking different screens, I have a phone here and a phone here, so you'll see me kind of looking back and forth a little bit as well. But this workshop Sunday is talking about 8 ways that you can, of course, pivot in life. I know a lot of times we, of course, are sick and tired of the stage that we're in or the season that we're in, but we have no idea how to actually go about changing things, looking at that in a positive light. So that's what this workshop Sunday is about today, y'all. Again, I'm Tonetta, your certified life coach. I'm here to, of course, inspire you to think bigger and to, of course, empower you to become who you are. So let's get on with workshop Sunday, y'all. Like I said, I have eight tips here to, of course, talk to you about today as far as pivoting in life, because I know a lot of us, of course, including myself, have had hard times or having a hard time now learning how to change and wanting to accept that change, that pivot in life. I guess I put it that way, even though we know it's the best for us. So like I said, that's why I'm doing this video today. So I know there's more than just me that's going through a life pivot possibly, and that are needing to, of course, get on track and kind of get their bearings in order to make that pivot more successful. So let me get on to I guess, tip number one. Tip number one, just realize and understand that pivoting requires a self-assessment and happiness assessment. I know there may be other assessments out there. I don't know. I was just putting assessment on there. But this just saying, just realize that we have to stop being unhappy. That's all this is saying. We have to stop learning how to be unhappy. We all get sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired of something that's going on in our life, whether it's love, relationships, job, career, business, our health, our wealth, our finances, whatever it is, we all get sick and tired. And even the kids, we all get sick and tired of being sick and tired at some point in life. And we realize that being sick and tired is creating our unhappiness. A lot of times we understand that, but we're not wanting to, of course, take that assessment, tell ourselves exactly what we're unhappy about. And number one is about speaking the truth to yourself. Speaking the truth to yourself about exactly what you're unhappy about and what you're wanting to change. That is the first key to anything and changing anything in life. But you have to realize, in order for you to, of course, be truthful to yourself, you have to, of course, want to stop being unhappy. A lot of the times that I've made changes and pivots in my life, I was unhappy as well. And I'm sure some of you all can relate to that. You were sick and tired of being in a relationship that's going nowhere, and you're trying to figure out what to do. I use that as an example because that's what happened in my past relationship. You have to figure out where you are, take an assessment of what's going on in your life and what's creating the unhappiness. That's the first thing. It's always the first thing, figuring out what is going on. So like I said, number one, just take that self-assessment and that happiness assessment to find out what's going on in your life and what's making you unhappy and what it is that you want to change and pivot on. And I just want to interject there. Just realize that pivoting, when I'm talking about pivoting, is just change in life. It can be in the season that you're in the location that you're in, with the people that you're around. It could be anything, career, the things I just named. It could be a change in any of those things. I also want to say that everybody's going to have a different journey when it comes to making life pivots and changes. Nobody's journey, including mine, is going to look the same as yours or anybody else's. We're all going to have a different way that our journey looks. The main thing, of course, like I said, with number one, just finding out what is going on within your life that's causing the unhappiness. And just realize nobody else's. You'll see other folks online, I'm sure, talking about their life and how they're making changes and doing all these things. Your life is not going to be the same as theirs, and you're not going to be posting the same thing as theirs, I'm sure, if you're posting anything online. If not, don't worry about that. But just realize you're going to see other folks going on their journeys as well, and yours is not going to look the same as theirs. Everybody is unique, and everybody has different needs and different wants. Just realize that, y'all. I just want to make sure I say that before I even go on to number two. But like I said, the first way is number one, is, of course, stop being unhappy, is to figure out where you're being unhappy. I guess what's causing the unhappiness. You have to figure that out first in order to, of course, move ahead. Number two, Go piggybacking off of what I just said. Just realize that when you're making changes, when you're making pivots and things like that, just realize that it's not a total restart in your whole life. Just lip gloss, y'all. I know some people seem to think that me starting over, me making the pivot is starting over the entire life and the whole thing, everything in my life has to change and all this type of stuff. That is not the case. I don't know who told you that. I used to think that as well, from folks just saying all these little quotes and different things. That is not what happens. Nobody is starting back from zero. Again, you're starting from where you are and creating something different, a different life path. That's all you're doing. And thank you, Woody Marvin Jones, for tuning in. I hope that you're doing well. And like I said, you're not having a total restart. Because some folks seem to think that when you're pivoting, you're making changes in life, that you're starting your entire life over and it's, oh my God, I'm dreading this, I'm dreading that, I don't think this is possible. You're not starting anything from ground zero. You already had your ground zero when you were put on this earth. That was ground zero. Learning how to walk, talk, and all those kind of things. Just understand and realize that it is not a total restart of your entire life, so you don't have to keep dreading that. Regardless of what folks say, regardless of what folks tell you, most of them are not telling you the truth when it comes to a pivot or just a restart, if you want to call it that. You're not starting all over from ground zero. You're starting from the point that you are, the day today, if you want to say today. You're starting from today moving forward. So just realize that. Number 3, pivoting is definitely a mindset shift. And of course, you can view it positively or negatively. Of course, being humans and negative always seems to come first in a lot of our lives. We are like I just said, we always look at pivoting and changing as is horrible. We can't do this. This is going to be horrible. My life is going to be a mess and all these types of things. I got to start all over from zero. That is not what you're doing, y'all. It's a mindset shift. And we have to shift that negative more towards the positive. We know that change is good for us a lot of times. But because of the things you've heard from other folks talking about how they've tried to change, or you see somebody posting online, or I'm trying to change and this is coming up in my face and I'm having to sit back here and this kind of thing, that's probably going to be the case in everybody's attempt to change. I guess I put it that way. But just know it's the way that you're viewing those things, is your perspective on those things. It does not have to be negative. I used to look at things negatively like that until I had to start shifting my mind as well to know that change is good for me. With that relationship, like I gave the example, I knew that a change in relationship and in pace with that was what I actually needed. While I was scared to take the steps, I took them anyway. But like I said, it was a mindset. I knew that on the other side of that with the positive mindset, that I was going to be a lot happier than where I currently was in that particular relationship. I know a lot of you all, the grass is greener on the other side. A lot of times that is actually true. It depends on how you look and what your perspective is on those things. If you look at it as far as life and making those changes and making those pivots, it can definitely be a positive thing for you. Especially if you're already unhappy and you're sick and tired and sick and tired and sick and tired and sick and tired of being where you are in life. And you know that you want to make changes. It's always a shift in mindset. That's the biggest thing that you have to deal with when it comes to making a pivot. If you're looking at this pivot, this change in life totally, oh my God, it's going to be ridiculous, I can't do this, you're already putting yourself down about it, then that's exactly how it's going to be. It's never going to come to fruition for you until you shift your mindset and shift that perspective on how you're viewing things. Number 4, is every time that we always have a pivot or a change in life, just realize that you have to set some new goals, tasks, and a timeline. The new goals, as far as whatever kind of vision that you see, if I'll use the relationship as an example again, if you're wanting a new relationship or to be in a relationship with a different person or whatever it is, of course, first you have to end the one that you're in. And that's a goal that you may have to set. And then you have to make a goal, of course, how to live in your singleness. And what kind of tasks you have to do, whether it's dating tasks, in order to, of course, start putting your stuff back out there again to find a more suitable mate. And give yourself a timeline for those things. Whether you're looking at doing these things within the next year, 6 months, 1 month, I guess it depends on how fast you want to move with this. I guess I put it that way. If that's something that you're wanting to do, it could be 2 years from now that you're looking at doing these things. But just make sure that you set new goals, because when you're shifting, when you're having a pivot in life, there's always a new vision that's, of course, coming about, a way that you see yourself. You see yourself becoming someone else and doing something else and living something else. You don't see yourself doing the same things that you have been doing, that you're sick and tired of, sick and tired of, sick and tired of. Like I said, pivoting, you have to set some new goals, tasks, on how to complete those goals in a timeline. Whatever timeline you want to complete those goals in. I wouldn't say set it out too far, but of course, like I said, that's something that you have to decide. And if you need help from a coach, of course, you can reach out to me, DM me today to go ahead and get started. But just keep in mind that with any pivot, you are always seeing yourself in a different light than where you currently are. And you have to create new goals, tasks, and a timeline for that. Just keep that in mind, y'all. Number 5. Take the plunge and find your flow. I know every time I read that, and I thought about that when I was writing this down, it reminds me of Steve Harvey whenever he said, jump and grow your wings on the way down. I know a lot of times, of course, I'll go back to the relationship example again. Having to, of course, quit your relationship and look for a new one and all these kind of things, that can definitely be a fearful thing to do. But of course, like I said, in order for you to move ahead, you have to push through that fear. That fear is just letting you know that you're going out of your comfort zone, which we have to always do in order for you to, of course, advance your life in any kind of way. If you're wanting to become a different person in life, you have to take that leap and push through that fear. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in the same old things, the same old things, the same old things, being sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired for the rest of your life. You have to make that decision whether you want to move ahead or stay the same. No matter what coach you listen to, no matter what videos you listen to, anything in life, you have to take that decision on what you want to do with your own life. And I'm suggesting that you take the plunge and find your flow along the way. There's no blueprint to life, to pivoting, to business, to anything. You have to create your own blueprint as you're going through the process. And I would definitely recommend journaling through this whole entire process. I know some people, I don't like to write these kind of things, but that's something you have to decide. But I'm telling you, the best way I've gotten through a lot of these things, and actually all these things, was that I had to write these things down, journal day to day, any ideas that I was having, any goals that I was setting, any tasks that I was trying to accomplish, the timeline that I was trying to be on. I was doing all those things. Even going back to number 1, taking that self-assessment and that happiness assessment, writing down what's making me unhappy, writing down the truth on what about myself in that present moment and what I'm trying to change. I journaled all those things. And I know I talked about that in another video when I was talking about journaling. I have about 5 or 6, 7 journals back in the back room, in my room. That's, of course, talking about a lot of these different things. My goals, what's going on, how I'm feeling, all these types of things. You have to, of course, journal about those things to get that stuff out of you. You can always go back and revisit it to see what's going on. But like I said, that's how I was able to push through. Like I said, take that plunge and find your flow. Journaling will help you find your flow. You're not going to have it when you first start off. Like I said, there's no blueprint, but you have to find your flow along the way. Like Steve Harvey said again, jump and grow your wings on the way down. That's how we all go through life, trial and error. That's all that life is trial and error. Trying this thing, if it don't work out, don't look at it as a failure. Look at it as a lesson to move you forward, to know what not to do the next time. That's how I always look at things I consider myself failing at or didn't do well at. I'm telling you all the same thing. Those are lessons to help you grow farther in life, to know what not to do next. And you can write those things down as well. Number 6, if there's something in your life that you're wanting to, of course, if you're pivoting again about relationships, I'll stick with that. And you don't know a lot about relationships or the opposite sex and that kind of thing, or how to even date. There's books out there on all types of things. You have to educate yourself. A change in your life is not going to happen it will happen because you said so, but you have to make that change happen. You have to do the work. Doing the work will require you to, of course, increase your skill set and your education around whatever that thing is you're trying to, of course, change and pivot around. I got to sneeze, y'all. It's coming up. I can't get it out, but it's coming. Like I said, you have to increase your skill set. There's no reason why you cannot figure out how to change a relationship, or how to date, or what it means to I guess to date a man or to date a woman, and how they feel, or they're more emotional, or they need love, or whatever. You have to read about those things if you don't already know. There's all types of coaches. There's all types of therapists. There's all types of folks out here that got books on all types of topics, and video lessons and workshops and that kind of thing as well. There's books, all kind of books on relationships. Believe it or not, marriage, how to get through a marriage, all those types of things. How to date a man, how to date a woman, what a woman needs, what a man needs. There's all types of books like that. You just have to want the change and the pivot bad enough in order to, of course, increase your skill set and education in that area. That's how the change happens. Yes, it requires the other things too, shifting the mindset, writing down what's going on. But the change actually happens when you start learning something new and doing something different. That's the work that we have to do, y'all. I'm always talking about doing your work and those kind of things. That's the work that's required in order for you to, of course, make those changes and those pivots in life. Again, there's no blueprint. You have to create that blueprint any kind of way that you think possible. Educating yourself, like I said, and increasing your skill set in whatever area you're trying to make that pivot in. Number 7, the whole entire process of pivoting and changing anything in life, it can be a lot. I'm not going to sit up here and lie to you, tell you it's easy and you can just do it in one day. That's not how that works. And I'm not going to lie to anybody about that. Some changes can take up to a year, 2 years. It just depends on whatever it is that you're doing. I would suggest to you to find something that you love to do, something creative, whether it's dancing, singing, a new hobby, baking, learning how to cook, whatever it is. Creating throw rugs, making bead necklaces, earrings, whatever, learning how to do hair, whatever it is. Learning how to do makeup, whatever kind of creative skill or hobby that you can pick up the thing so that you can have some type of release. A lot of times when I was going through my pivots and going through the changes in life, I was, of course, crying, especially the last several years. I was crying through those things. I had some bad days doing those things. Some days I was totally fucking pissed off about stuff. Learning things that people have told me all these years that I knew that it just didn't sit well with me. Those were the lies and the things that folks would tell you, some of those limiting beliefs as well. It will piss you off. Once you learn the truth behind things, the truth will set you free. This process, like I said, it takes work and it's not an easy process for any of these things. But I would suggest finding a hobby, something that you love to do, whether it's doing TikTok videos, dancing all day, whatever you want to do to take your mind off of the seriousness of things. You have to have some type of outlet. I love to bake. I love to bake cookies and cakes, and I sell them on the side as well. I love to, of course, make throw rugs. I've made videos about me making a throw rug, for the first time. I'm learning how to do my own hair. All those types of side things, those hobbies, you can turn that into a business as well. But the main thing is to, of course, give yourself a release, to have some fun, to, of course, shift your mindset to something creative and fun and something that's going to make you happy, even if it's walking in nature. I always say that nature is my therapy. I walked in nature a lot, on different nature trails, going outside just to see the sunset, feel the sun for a moment, walk around the block. I did all those things. Like I said, find yourself something else creative to do, because this process, it may not be easy for you. I can't say it's for everybody. And some of the processes I went through, yes, some of them were easy. But the major big ones, letting go of relationships and people in my life and learning how to accept spirituality in my life, how that was going to look, those things were difficult for me. And it took some time. I'm still on that process of learning as well. So I'm not going to tell you the big things in life. Those things are going to be not quick, and they're going to take a lot out of you. So you have to have a creative outlet, whatever that outlet and whatever kind of skills you have, whether you want to go outside and swing on the swings every day. Do that to get your mind off things and to bring some kind of fun and oomph into your life. You have to do that. And then the last thing, y'all, when it comes to pivoting and you're setting your goals and your tasks and your timeline, all these kind of things, make sure that you're celebrating your wins. This is a big thing. I don't care how little, how big your win is. Make sure that you're celebrating those things. I don't care if it's meeting a deadline, that you met a deadline, that you can, of course, start a new job or start dating, whatever it is. Celebrate the small wins and the big wins, all the wins that you have. And this is one thing that I hadn't done consistently throughout my life at all. I put it that way. I'm learning how to do it now, but in the past, it wasn't always like that. And you don't have to have all this money and to go on a trip every time you have a win. You don't have to, unless you have the money like that. I don't, but if you do, go ahead and do that. What I mean by celebrating your wins is doing something nice for yourself, even if it's a bubble bath, a nice warm shower, sit back and have a me day and watch a movie that you've always wanted to watch. Make yourself some popcorn and bake some cookies and just veg out, eat the little snacks and look at TV if you want to do that. That could be a cheap way to celebrate a win. Even if it's going to a nature trail to walk on a trail that you haven't been on, that can be celebrating a win as well. If you have the money to go buy yourself something, take yourself out to dinner, then do that. Or take yourself out for a massage, then do that. Or a facial, or getting your nails done, getting your hair done, then do that. Whatever your money allows, but just make sure that you're celebrating the good things that are coming out of your pivot. The goals that you're reaching, the tasks that you have completed. Make sure that you're doing that. That's very important to know that you, of course, appreciate what you're doing for yourself. That's the main thing that you're doing when you're celebrating your wins. Telling yourself that I'm the bomb, I can do this shit. That's exactly what you're telling yourself. And that I know I can continue on. Giving yourself that confidence. Giving yourself that confidence that you're going to need in order to keep on going. So make sure that you're celebrating those wins. So with that, like I said, that's the end of my list of how to pivot in life, my 8 things. Number 1, stop being unhappy and figure out what's going on with your life. Getting that self-assessment and that happiness assessment. Number 2, you don't have to pay for an assessment. I mean, just going through your own life, thinking in your head, writing down the things that's making you unhappy. 2, realize that this is not a total restart for you. It's going to be you starting from the day, whenever you want to start making your pivot, it's starting from that day moving forward, just taking a different path. It's not completely starting over, and your life is not going to be in ruins. It's just starting over from the point that you're at. You don't have to go back and relearn how to walk and talk again. You're starting over from the point that you're at moving forward. Just remember that it's a mindset shift, a huge mindset shift. From the negative, seeing this change in this shift as being something negative in your life, into seeing it in a positive light, in a positive, more positive perspective. Number 4, with any pivot, you have to set some new goals, tasks, and a timeline for everything that you're doing. 5, take the plunge and find your flow. 6, increase your skill set and education. 7, find a new hobby or creative outlet. Number 8, celebrate your wins. And like I said, that's the 8 ways to, of course, pivot in life. I hope that you all enjoyed this workshop Sunday, and I hope this works. I hope not it works, but I know it's going to work. But I hope this, of course, put a light bulb in someone else's head, whoever's listening or who listened to this live or the replay, to let them know that pivoting and changing in life is okay. We all have different seasons in life that things happen. And because you're unhappy right now does not mean that things will always be that way. But you have to take the conscious choice and decision to want to make those changes. Regardless as to what I'm saying, me as a life coach, a social worker, a black woman, regardless as to what any other coach in your life that you follow, anything like that says, you're the one who has to make that choice and that decision to move forward. And to leave that world of unhappiness into a new world of happiness for you. You have to decide that. And like I said, these are 8 ways that you can go ahead and get started with those things. I just hope that these 8 ways, of course, will help you on your journey. If you need to come back and look at this video, please definitely come back. Save this video if you're able to save it on your phone or in your documents or however you want to save it. Please do so, because it will definitely help you in your journey as you're making these life changes in this pivot. Or several pivots, because usually when you're making one, other things come into play and you have to do more than just one pivot. Because it's going to create some changes throughout, I guess, a ripple effect. I guess I put it that way. And I know I talked about journaling earlier, about how important it is to, of course, write down all these things that I just finished going over. The whole entire pivot process, writing that stuff down, how you're feeling, what's going on, any thoughts you're having, your goals, and the truth about where you're at in life too, writing all them things down. And I know I talked about that in journaling. If you all have a journal, continue in that journal. If not, I have journals that you can click on the link, either in my bio on Instagram or the link in the description of the video, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're looking at this at, in order to go ahead and pick up you a journal today. And if you cannot afford that, go ahead and pick up you a notebook or a piece of paper, some sticky notes, something to go ahead and get yourself started on this path that you're trying to pivot into. I guess I put it that way. The person you're trying to become and making that pivot with. So like I said, with that, I want to say thank you all for tuning in. Of course, I'm Tonetta, your certified life coach, here to inspire you to think bigger and to empower you to become who you are. I want to say thank you all for tuning in. I'll see y'all on the next Sunday video, the Sunday workshop. So next Sunday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll see y'all then. Take care, y'all, and have a blessed rest of your night.